Hi, good afternoon everybody. Today I'm going to be showing how to change the oil on the 2017 Mercedes 450 GLS. However, though, I'm not going to do it the standard way. I'm going to use one of these oil extractor pumps, simply because the oil filter for these vehicles is right here on the top somewhere. I'll show you guys in a second when I take the cover off. So really, there's no need to go underneath and try to take the oil plug off. So we're gonna start step by step. The first thing to do is to remove the cover of the engine. This is simply, you just disconnect this attachment right here, and then you just pull up gently until it kind of like releases itself. There you go. There's another one over here, one more over here, and I believe there's two more in the back. Take the cover off, and I'll show you in a second. Basically, this is the oil filter. So that's going to be step two. So step two is releasing the oil filter case here. You're just going to have to get one of these oil pliers, at least that's what I call them, and give it a good snug twist to the left side, righty-tighty, and continue to twist the oil filter until it completely becomes loose and you feel the oil start dripping down to the bottom. I like to do it this way. I take the filter out first. Like I said, the oil goes at the bottom first, rather than pull out the oil and then you still have oil left over here in the oil filter. So do not take it out yet. So for now, just loosen it, let the oil drop to the bottom of the pan. So step number three is you're going to find the dipstick, which on the GLS 450 is always on the driver's side, all the way in the back. So just pull out the dipstick. If you feel like checking the oil quality, you could do that, but since I'm going to change it, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to go directly for inserting the So you insert basically the tip of the extraction tubing all the way to the bottom of the oil pan. If you keep pushing slowly and gently, you're gonna feel at one point the tube is gonna touch the bottom of the pan. It's very important that it does touch the bottom of the pan. If you leave it higher up, then obviously you're gonna end up leaving some oil at the bottom of the pan. Another trick to this is that you don't want to push it too far in, because sometimes the tube will basically do a hook type of twist, and then the same reaction is you're gonna end up with some oil at the bottom of the pan. So the bottom line is just keep pushing slowly and gently until you feel it touching the bottom of the pan. Once you've done that, you come back to your pump and you give it a few pumps, and you're gonna see oil start coming up the tube right there. Starting to come up. Give it a few pumps until the oil reaches the pump itself, and that's that. Leave it there until it's finished pumping out all the entire oil that's in the pan. You might have to give it a few more pumps if it slows down. So step number four, what I'm going to be doing while the oil is being pumped out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the oil filter and replace it with the new one. So you basically just keep twisting until you can take it out, and carefully. You don't want to drip this stuff, or as much as you can, prevent it from dripping on any of the parts of the car. So that's the filter right there. This is actually part of the case, so I'm gonna proceed to take this out and put in the new filter that I purchased. The new filter has O-rings, so it's got an O-ring right here and it's got an O-ring right here that need to be replaced. So when you do that, just make sure that you're replacing those two O-rings. So step number five is replacing the filter. I've taken out the filter, and I apologize earlier. I said that the center piece that was within the filter stayed in. I'm confused with the other Mercedes I have from the previous years. Apparently when you take out this filter, the entire centerpiece comes out, and I'll show you in a second with the new filter. The filter I'm using this time is STP. I'm not sponsored by them. This is just me using this one. It's the extended life one, 10,000 miles, and obviously I'm going to use Mobil 1, which is the recommended oil by Mercedes. So basically, take out, this is where the O-ring is, and this is the filter itself. So this is the centerpiece that I'm talking about that I thought stays in. And another model that used to stay on the inside of the filter, you just replace the filter. So it's pretty simple, basically. Just push it in there and give it a good push. Make sure you hear that click that you just heard. The second O-ring for this particular model, STP, it's in there already. Some others, they have it separate. You're going to have to put it yourself. So what I'm going to do now is take out this O-ring and put in the new one, the red one. And then we're going to throw it back in the case and tighten it up. Okay, so here's the O-ring I was talking about. It's on it, the filter's on, and we're good to go. We're just going to put this in a slot and start twisting until, you know, basically becomes tight. Significantly tight though. You don't want oil start leaking out from there. What I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna give it a nice squeeze from with the pliers that I use. A good nice squeeze, but you don't want to go nuts with it where you're gonna crack it, as long as oil's not coming out. Just give it a couple of turns and that should do it. Alright, so the extractor basically finished extracting the oil from the vehicle, and the way to tell is basically you look at the line here and you can see it's all clear now instead of it being brown or black while it was pulling the oil. You're also going to hear a different sound. It starts to like gargle when it's reaching the end. When it does that, give it a few more pumps just to make sure that you've sucked out everything. In my case, this is a I think it's a 9-quart, yeah, it is a 9-quart extraction tool, and you can see it's filled up to here, which is 7 quarts. And believe it or not, that's what the manual says, 7.1, I believe, quarts of oil it requires. So there you go, we're done. It literally took about 15 minutes to do this. Mostly while I was changing the oil filter and shooting the video, maybe 5 minutes later it was complete. So let me just show you some things around. Oh, one thing I want to mention. Before you start the entire process, make sure you warm up the car. You don't want it hot, but you want the engine to be warm, because in that case it makes the oil much easier to be sucked out, extracted much easier than when it's cool. Let me show you some of the things around. By the way, right here it says that Mercedes recommends, approves Mobil 1. That's the only one, and that's what I got, Mobil 1, and it's the 0W40, which is what the manual recommends. Again, no, I'm not sponsored by Mobil 1, but that's what the manual recommends. Let me just show you some of the things around this engine bay here. Obviously you have the covers. By the way, the air filter is right here. There's 2 air filters here. You definitely want to check these things out when you're changing the oil, but at least once a year. Mine are brand new because I just replaced them a couple of months ago. Antifreeze is right here. Windshield wiper fluid. There's another one here for antifreeze. Obviously the oil filter. This is where you fill up the oil with, and those are the main components for this vehicle. It's a very complicated vehicle, but like I said, instead of going underneath the car and remove a lot of other things to get to the oil pan just to have it drained, you can very easily do it if you have one of these extractor pumps. I've done this for many years with all kinds of vehicles, and I've never had any issues. I know there's a lot of debates out there, people debating that it's good, it's not good, but you know, to each their own. So right now, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to remove the cap here and get a funnel and fill up the crankcase with 0W40 oil. Like I said, it takes 7.1 quarts, I believe, and that's it. That's all there is. Hope you liked the video, hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please subscribe and please leave a thumbs up. Thank you.